Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Uh-oh, I spy trouble. Hi.
And then,
What are you doing here?
and then, not for that.
Okay, you ready to say good morning?
Good morning.
Well, that was so sweet.
And then,
Well, after Dad, show will play, and then we'll go to
JJ.
JJ's house. And who we gonna see at JJ's house? JJ.
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 And Sunday.
Well, on Sunday, we're gonna go to Mimi and Mama and Papa's house. Huh.
And some
And see Momo and Papa and Grammy and Gramps.
tape.
What do you think about that, huh? What do you think about that? All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Hope you had a great Friday. Took the day off yesterday from work, but did watch the LSU baseball game. Tigers rallied from down 4 twice. Ty Floyd gave up an early 4-0 lead. Struggled again with command. On the day, I believe LSU either walked or hit three or four runs. I'm not looking at the box score right now. I would have it up, but I'm holding somebody. Yep. Did you touch that? Oh, you look so mischievous now.
Good.
What?
And
This
then,
is Team Drew.
and then,
But some big moments for LSU. From down 4-0. And I tweeted this, if you are watching the game, I tweeted this. At the end of the third, oh gosh.
happy birthday to you. Hey.
Whose birthday is it?
Oh,
So at the end of the third, Jack Mahoney struck out Dylan Cruz to end the inning.
no,
And as he's walking back to the Carolina dugout, he looks either at Cruz or in the LSU dugout, one of the two, and barks twice,
Saturday,
"You can't
I see you.
F with me."
And then,
I tweeted that with the gif from The Office of Brian taking notes, like, I'm going to mark that down. And sure enough, next at bat, top of the fourth, Tommy White homers. Jordan Thompson hits a 2-run bomb, and just like that, LSU's back within 4-3. Now, there's bad news, of course, which is that Garrett Edwards came into the game and left with an apparent injury. I do not have any update on that right now, unfortunately, but it did not look good. Of course, South Carolina was able to grow their lead again to that's not what I wanted.
and then,
As you all know, Gavin Dugas hits a grand slam, ties the game at 7. Gavin Guidry comes in, slams the door, and LSU pushes across what would be the game-winning run in the top of the 8 on an RBI single by Cade Beloso. So, definitely concerning for Ty Floyd. 3 innings pitched, walked 4, hit 3, and he gave them 3 runs, just handed them 3 runs. But Griffin Herring came in and was good over 3 innings. Riley Cooper pitched to 1 batter, a matchup. Got the out. And then they went to Gavin Guidry, who finished it off, got the final 5 outs for you, and struck out 3, walked 1, did not allow a hit, was really good, and I love his mound presence too. So Tigers get it done. A couple of takeaways from the weekend, of course. It's we knew this, but what, baby? What? Use your words, please. Can you use your words, please?
Sit.
You want to sit? Okay.
And
Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, oh yeah, no, the thing that we learned certainly this weekend, which I think we knew but was confirmed, is what happens when Paul Skeens doesn't extend for you. It obviously threw LSU off in game 1. If Skeens finishes that game, does he slam the door? LSU rally? Probably. I mean, you certainly don't end up 13-5. It's just a very different game if Skeens finishes it. But he didn't, and so you lose game 1, and that's a lot of times a tone setter for the weekend. I don't know what they would have done today. Save for South Carolina, but again, today's game is canceled, not postponed, canceled. So the SEC rule is you have 3 days to play 3 games, and if you don't play the 3 games in 3 days, it's not made up. So. LSU will play a max of 29 conference games this year. They will not make up this game. So
today.
Okay, buddy. Let's say some good mornings here. See what y'all got. Jeff McKithen, Ryan, Amanda Guidry. Good morning. Patrick McKenzie. Sucks game 3 got canceled. Probably never make. No, Patrick, they won't make it up. Like again, just to be clear, the SEC rule is. Once a series starts, you have 3 days to play 3 games. So, and if it's not, the game is canceled and will not be made up. So they're not going to come back later on in the schedule and make it up somewhere. So LSU and South Carolina have played a maximum now of 29 league games, which can affect you on tiebreakers and all kind of things, which kind of stinks, but it's just what it is. Ryan, Amanda Guidry, great comeback. Kirk Taylor, Jason Horn, good morning. Let's see, any news on Edwards? Nope. But man, when you start to look at it now, of course, you've already lost Grant Taylor for the year before the season started. Nate Ackenhausen is on the shelf with a hamstring injury. We'll see when he's back. Chase Shores didn't pitch this weekend, and I think we all, you kind of fear what that prognosis may be. And now if Garrett Edwards is injured as well, I mean, you need, listen, the really good news is Gavin Guidry's emergence because you need it. What are you doing? You playing the guitar? Okay. Let's see. Smash that like button if you would. Jordan Haddad, Joel Cunningham, good morning. Any truth to the rumor SC looked for ways to back out of game 3? Joel, not that I know of, man. I mean, that just doesn't really make sense. They won game 1, and LSU certainly short on pitching. I think, of course, you want to play that game, so I don't know why they would back out of it. John Melanson, good morning. How's Drew? He's good. He's hanging right there. Dak Cajun, what's up? Brian Tanya, good morning from Rolla, Missouri. Okay. Wendell Norman, Jason H., good morning. Truax, what's up? Joey Metke, Pabler 15. Randall Offrecht, good morning. So Gavin Guidry is for real. It'll be interesting to see what his role continues to expand to. He'll have to have an expanded role, obviously, considering what we just talked about with some of the injuries. He looks really good. He's pumping mid-90s. His slider's really good. He's got strikeout stuff, and I love his mound presence. He's not afraid of any of those moments. I mean, as a freshman on the road in South Carolina, took the ball and got you your final 5 outs and was unmoved by any of it, which was great to see. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dalton Barnett, Larry Garner, strong side. Good morning, Shane Danos. They should have done everything they could to play the game yesterday. Plenty of time the day to dodge the rain. Yeah, Shane, I wasn't there, man, so I don't know what the forecast was like yesterday. I mean, I don't know what it was like in Columbia yesterday, but you got to keep in mind too, Shane, what neither team wanted to do was start it and then have an immediate stoppage, because then you burn whatever pitcher you used to start the game. So, I mean, guys, if you go back to Thursday, we were thinking they might get one game in. So the fact that they moved, that they going Thursday in, even with the delay, and then moved Friday up and got it in is a good sign. Like, that they were able to get 2, because there was a thought that we're going to get 1. I mean, I even asked Kendall Rogers, what if they don't get any of these games played? So there was a thought of that. So, I mean, you could be disappointed. I am that Game 3 is canceled. But I'm glad they got 2 in. I'm sure glad LSU rallied yesterday. Any info on Edwards' injury? Nope. Tyler Barris, good morning. Thomas Lamont, morning, Matt. How concerned are you with the pitching staff as a whole right now? Floyd's outing was distressing. Yes, obviously. There's 2 things that are very concerning. Primarily, it's now your injuries, because when you have injuries, you limit options when guys struggle. Over the course of a season, there are things that there are surprises, both positive and negative, right? I mean, you have Gavin Guidry, for example, has been a very pleasant surprise on the mound. Garrett Edwards, a very pleasant surprise on the mound. Thatcher Hurd struggles, disappointing, right? So there's some of that both ways. The 2 things primarily are, number 1, the injuries, which you can't control. And the more injuries you have, I mean, Shores and Edwards and Grant Taylor before the season were guys you were certainly counting on to play big roles on this team. So certainly Shores and Taylor were. Edwards was hey, you got to make the team, and he's turned into a great pitcher for you this year, a guy you really count on. But Griffin Herring's emergence has been really good. So the injuries is one, that's one you can't control. The other thing that you can is just command. Like, Ty Floyd's stuff is good. He's just not commanding it right now. Thatcher Hurd's stuff is good. He's just walking too many people. And that's where I go, that's fixable, right? You can work on command. You can get in the pitching lab. You can watch film of outings, and Wes Johnson can work with these guys to improve their command. And I mean, when I look at Hurd, for example, he's got 19 walks in 24 innings pitched. That's his undo. He's got 33 strikeouts, but 19 walks. Ty Floyd, 38 strikeouts in 34 and 30 innings pitched, 14 walks. Now, that's obviously been something that's popped up more the last 2 outings. Well, actually, this outing and 2, again, the beginning of the Arkansas game, basically. But I've seen Ty Floyd be really good this year, and I think he can be again. What you need for this team now, especially with Shore's injury, and we'll see what's going on with Edwards, you've got to have Thatcher Hurd play a big role in this team. I mean, otherwise you're looking at, maybe needing Sam Dutton or Blake Money to step up into a weekend rotation role, So, I mean, the injuries are concerning. So, Thomas, you're asking how concerned am I with the pitching staff? Yes, more so today than I was a week ago, so like 2 weeks ago, because you're losing arms and guys you're counting on haven't been consistent. So, yes, it's concerning. Paul Guidry, Trivia Carter, Jeff G, Zach Lenz, good morning. Tyler Barris, good morning. Let's see. Pat Houston, Austin Kidder, Jeff said, Matt, I know going into this series you were cautiously skeptical of South Carolina. Does your mind change on that? Do you think it was a bad set of circumstances this week? Listen, I think with South Carolina, now we didn't get to see what happened day 3, right? So I don't know what they would have. I don't know who they like. Again, their Sunday was a TBA. Their game 3 starter was a TBA. So I don't know who they were going to start and what their pitching would have looked like. So it's a little bit incomplete. I will tell you, I've certainly seen better. Tennessee's pitching is better than South Carolina's. And as far as the offense, it's hard to poo-poo a team that leads the country in homers. But man, I just don't think that's going to play in the postseason. I don't think that approach is going to, like, they may win enough games that they'll be a national seed and play, at Founders Park in regional and super regional round. If they do, that greatly benefits them. Because like we talked about yesterday, every swing they take is on an upward plane. Like, they are not swinging to drive the baseball. They are looking to elevate the baseball and hit homers. And that's okay. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's your approach. Okay. I don't think that approach will play at TD Ameritrade if they make it to home. So in one hand, I'm saying, yes, they're a good baseball team, especially playing in that park. I also think they are really going to struggle against better pitching staffs in the league, and they still have to play Vanderbilt, Florida, and Tennessee. So don't be surprised if you see South Carolina regress to the mean a good bit when they face those 3 pitching staffs. Austin Kidder, good morning. Pat Houston, hoping we can get our bullpen figured out. Any word on rescheduled rubber match? Again, it's not rescheduled. Again, for those maybe just joining us, 134 watching live, thank you so much. Please smash that like button. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. The SEC rule is you have 3 days to play 3 once the series starts. So the game is canceled. It will not be made up. Like, LSU will play a maximum of 29 league games this year. They will not make up game 3. Zach, Beloso, and Dugas are becoming my 2 favorite players of all time. It's great to see him, man. I mean, and I've had this conversation with Terry so many times over the years. Every one of LSU's championship teams have had that in common. Meaning, guys from Louisiana who are really good ball players, maybe not projectable to be big leaguers. But although Gavin Dugas, I think, has a shot if he keeps going at this rate. But every LSU team has, I mean, you could go through all of them and look at guys that had the big leaguers. I mean, look at 91. You had Paul Bird and Chad OJ and Rick Green, who was a first-round pick. You had Andy Sheets and Russ Johnson and Armando Rios and Lyle Mouton. I mean, you had guys that were big leaguers. You also had guys like Gary Emel and Johnny Telechia, who were great team guys that weren't, big leaguers. Rich Cordani, going left field. I mean, you can go through every one of LSU's championship teams and point that out. The 2000 team, you had superstar talents on that team. Brad Haupt, who had a great big league career. You could go around the diamond. You look at Louisiana guys like Fontenot and Terrio. Jorgensen was a big leaguer as well. But Blair Barbier and Jeremy Witten were such great leaders and like the heartbeat of that team, and came up huge for LSU in Omaha. But my point is, every LSU team that's won has had those guys. And yes, absolutely. I mean, Gavin Dugas and Cade Beloso on this team are those guys. They're Louisiana guys that would have cut off an arm to play for LSU, and are getting their opportunity now late in their career and making the most of it, and I love to see it. Bojack's, what's going on? Alex Day, South Carolina botched this. They could have gotten 2 games on Thursday, 1 yesterday, but oh well. I think that is I'm curious what the conversations were about Thursday. And that's something that when we have media availability with Jay might be worth asking, because that did seem plausible. My understanding also is that you've got to have agreement from both sides. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Trivia Carter, good morning. Wonder if the South Carolina pitcher who was talking poop regrets it. Listen, I'm no hypocrite. I'm okay with trash talk. I'm okay with smack talk. I'm okay with being demonstrative on the mound. When Paul Skeen strikes out a guy, he barks and he does this thumb over the shoulder like get out of here thing, and I love it. So I'm not going to tell you I love it when my guy does it, and I hate it when another guy does it. So all I'm saying is you strike out Dylan Cruz and you bark at him, you're tugging on Superman's cape, and it bit him in the next half inning. Let's see, go Tigers, good morning. Jesse Brown, morning Matt, really surprised South Carolina rescheduled the game yesterday to today. Game was canceled. Not sure what happened to our tickets we had. Michael Malonzo, any news on Shores? No, sir. I mean, look, I don't want to be, listen, I'm not here, especially with injuries. I don't want to be irresponsible, and I don't want to mislead anybody into thinking something. Okay, I think when you see a big, strong guy like that who is as hard a thrower as Chase Shores is, and you hear this type of news, we all think the same thing. And I'll tell you that there is a concern that's the issue. They'll have to do imaging and let him rest and see what it is, and but hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's something that just with a little rest and rehab, he can be back pitching this year for the team. So, but I don't know that they've fully diagnosed him yet. Gulf South, I get a win as a win, but man, the staff walks batters like it's a good thing. When we're at bat, we strike out looking just as often. So, and you said you have to adjust the ump strike zone. The umps the past 2 days were very inconsistent, especially with the outside pitch. It's very hard as a hitter to have a consistent approach when the strike zone isn't consistent. And look, I don't like if you're an umpire and you want to have a wide strike zone, okay, I don't care. But if you're gonna have a wide strike zone, just be consistent with it. Like the pitch that Dylan Cruz struck out on, he called it a ball twice previous in that same at bat. So that's the problem I have. Now, as far as Gulf South, as far as your comment about they walk just much or strikeout looking, it was very clear the approach for LSU the last 2 days was to drive up a pitcher's pitch count. And it worked. Mahoney threw in 4 innings. Jack Mahoney threw 86 pitches. Remember, you want to be as a pitcher on average 12 to 15 pitches an inning. So through 4, you would have been somewhere at the 36 to 45 pitches. He was double that. He was at 86 pitches through 4 innings. So it was very clear that was LSU's approach against Mahoney, was make him work, make him throw a lot of pitches, get him out of the game. And they did. And then, of course, they took advantage of the bullpen. So, and knowing that South Carolina didn't even have an announced Game 3 starter, it was just very clear that was their approach. On the flip side of it, the 2 days they played Arkansas, the first 2 days against Arkansas, their approach was jump on them early. Last week against Tennessee with Dolander, you realize that dude fills up the strike zone, swing. I mean, first pitch of the game against Dolander last week, Gavin Dugas ropes a double, right? So Or no, that was Friday against Beam, or Friday against Burns. Anyway, point is, you have a different approach to different pitchers. So now, the strikeouts don't bother me as much. The LSU pitchers walking hitters is a concern. No way around it. You've got to be able to throw strikes. And then when you get behind hitters, the advantage shifts to the hitters because they know what's coming. I mean, if you're behind 2-1, 3-1, it's called a hitter's count for a reason because as a pitcher, you got to throw the ball over the plate. If they know it's coming over the plate and they guess the right pitch, guess what? Put a good swing on it, now you're in trouble. A lot of Dale Bruce are asking about Edwards. A lot of y'all are asking about Edwards. I don't know yet. I'm sure none of them know yet until they get back to Baton Rouge and let them go through testing and imaging and all that sort of stuff. So I don't have an update on Edwards. Bo Jacks, good morning. We're the number one team in the nation. The umpires need to adjust to us. That's not a very smart comment. Every umpire has a different strike zone and a different way of calling a game. And no. Hey, Brian Penn. Okay, new screen name. Good to see you there. Shane Dan knows what's going on. What's the reason for not pushing to play the game yesterday when all the rain was gone by 6 o'clock? I don't know. They made the decision. I guess they were looking at the forecast. They made the decision. A lot of times, if they make that decision, like if they feel like the weather is going to be a problem, then you leave the ballpark. If you're going to wait out a delay, the teams stay at the ballpark in their clubhouse, get something to eat, relax, stretch, whatever, and then. But like if they send everybody home, they're not going to bring everybody back. Joe Mitke, Matt, will this tie hurt LSU in any way? So it's not a tie. Maybe it's a series tied at 1-1, if that's what you mean. Not playing the final game could. So if they end up, let's say LSU ends up in a tie at the top of the standings, the tiebreaker then becomes, if they haven't played an equal amount of games, the tiebreaker becomes the winning percentage. So the worst case scenario would be, let's say LSU wins 21 games and Vanderbilt wins 22. So Vanderbilt goes 22-8, but LSU is 21-8, right? I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm just throwing hypothetically, right? Well, then Vanderbilt's got 22 wins. They win the league. So, I mean, that's about the only way it does. A selection committee for the tournament, it isn't going to ding LSU for not playing this game. You got plenty of opportunities. Again, you're in the SEC. Smash that like button if you would. 163 watching live on YouTube. We got 53 on Facebook. Thanks so much for being here. So shout out to Brock, Need North Peters. Brock, night and after hours clinic open on nights and weekends. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Restored Motions, if you... weird. What's going on with the ProCharge website there? That's odd. Something's going on there. Anyway, if... I would send you the ProCharge website. Something looks like it's malfunctioning there, though. We're doing ProCharge is doing a free EV charger giveaway. 3 commercial businesses or commercial buildings will win a free EV charger this month plus install. Just go to prochargeev.com. Hit the charger giveaway tab, and you'll see how you can enter. Totally free to enter. Let's see. Do you think LSU will drop in the rankings after these 2 games? Maybe. See what happens around the rest of the country. I think Vanderbilt certainly has a chance to leap LSU, depending on what happens today. Ray Langlois, morning from Nacogdoches. Good morning. Dustin Fontenot game was a lot of fun. All the South Carolina fans got real quiet. Hey, how about Gavin Dugas, man? Grand slam to tie it. Gavin Guidry came in, slammed the door, and of course LSU was able to push the game winner run across. Big moment for Cade Beloso, RBI single, and really all he needed to do in that situation with runner on third and 1 out was just put the ball in play. Put the ball in play, and that run's going to score, and he did. It was awesome to see. Troy Aber, what's the purpose of the rule that they have to finish series in 3 days? Doesn't make sense. They could play tomorrow when they normally play on Sundays. Yeah, I think they don't want series extending 4 days. Travel is part of it. Just consistency in the scheduling. TV. There's a lot of factors and components to keep in mind. And that really only plays whenever you have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, because you wouldn't have that option to play on a Monday because, series have to end because you got to get back into school. I'm not saying, by the way, that I love it. I'm just saying I get it when there's a lot of things to consider. It keeps things a little more consistent and structured. Donovan Peterson, new episode of The Pivot is great. I need to watch it. It's with Flaugier and Angel. They did that episode on, they recorded it on Wednesday of this week and turned it around quickly for a Friday drop. But you can go to The Pivot YouTube and check it out. I'm looking forward to it. Sergeant King, good morning. Go Tigers. How about the Pelicans? Yeah, man. Pels win last night. They beat the Knicks. So I tell you the thing I'm very disappointed about is the Zion news because we talked about it this week. I kind of heard some whispers that it looked like Zion was going to be back either for last night's game against the Knicks or Sunday against Minnesota. And okay. Hang on one second, y'all. Actually, here you go. I'll give you the Matt Shuffle while I go start videos for Drew. Okay. All right. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for supporting Tiger Athletics. The Zion thing. So the Pels win. They're still in the 8th seed, tied with the Lakers. They're a half game behind the Clippers. So what you need is a Pels win and a Clippers loss. You need the Pels to beat Minnesota. And you need the Clippers to lose to Portland, which that's probably not going to happen. That is in LA, and Portland is basically tanking. So, but fingers crossed, here's open, all that stuff. Jonathan Satoon, no, I'm behind. Did LSU hit more home runs than South Carolina in the series? Let's total it up here. I don't. I'm not looking at the composite. Oh, I'm trying to do it in my head. I think actually, I think so. Because I don't think South Carolina hit any yesterday. Let's see. See, they scored on a hit by pitch, double. Tommy White homered, Jordan Thompson homered. Yeah, they did not hit a homer. LSU hit 3 yesterday. And then in game 1, Let's see. Petrie homered, Wimmer homered, Petrie homered, Brewer homered. So they hit 4 in game 1. LSU hit 3 in game 2, but then Thompson homered and Beloso homered. So LSU hit 5 on the series. They hit 4. So yeah, LSU did more homers than they did. Brandon Tilley, good morning. Good for the boys pulling it out last night. I admit I was very worried how it started. You should be. I mean, the fact that Ty Floyd had a shortened outing, couldn't throw strikes, and then Garrett Edwards got hurt, that was pretty devastating. I mean, you needed Gavin Dugas heroics with a grand slam and a huge outing from Gavin Guidry to slam the door, and 3 innings from Griffin Herring, who was good again. Yeah, I mean, had they played a game 3 today, I mean, you start Christian Little. I mean, guys, Blake Money probably would have had a pitch for you today. You probably could have gone to Hurd out of the bullpen for something. Bryce Collins. I mean, Riley Cooper could have pitched again. So, I mean, you had arms. I'm not sure that you had great options today. But anyway. Dustin Fondo, Edwards was hanging out after the game, talking with fans, moving his arms in a pitching motion. Doesn't mean he's not badly injured, but it was good to see, not in a sling or anything. Well, keep in mind, Dustin, I'm going to say, I'm not saying this is what happened to Edwards. Okay, I'm not saying this. But if you blow out and you tear your UCL, you don't put your arm in a sling. It's just, I mean, it's a ligament in your elbow. Yeah, I'm not saying that's what they're fearful of. I'm not saying what's happened. Just being very clear, I don't know. But that's, you don't put your arm in a sling if that's the case. Hang on one second. Okay. Very sorry. Let's see. Smash that like button if you would. I'd appreciate it. If you're new, please subscribe up to the Matt Scone YouTube channel. Let's see. Armstrong Grappling. Jamie Hodges, good morning. South Carolina have good hitters. They can hit in any park. After 1 and 4, however, after 1 through 4, they're an average lineup at best. I think Petrie can hit in any park. I don't know that that's a team that you're going to see go. I'm telling you, man, like yesterday, LSU gave them everything. LSU hit 2 batters and walked 1 to get 3 of South Carolina's runs home. I mean, I'm telling you, they're going to struggle against Florida, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee. 3 really good pitching staffs are going to give that team trouble. I'm telling you. Brett DeGrow, good morning. Any info on Javen Coleman returning? Yes, actually. Javen Coleman is throwing. And I'm optimistic with some of the conversations that I've had that at some point this year, they feel like they're going to get him on the mound. So that would be phenomenal news if they do, man. That would be fantastic when you're just talking. I mean, because Javen Coleman a year ago was your best left-handed arm. Obviously, towards UCL, Tommy John, and you missed the season. And so you had to rely real heavily on Riley Cooper, kind of as your only left-handed arm until late in the season. But, yeah, I mean, that would be a massive gain for LSU if Javen Coleman is able to return. Fred Sebrin, good morning. Thought Jay played it well by not shooting all our bullets from the pen Thursday. Now the third game got canceled, doesn't look as good. We still had Hurd in the pen. I liked us in game 3. Fred, I'm not sure that you could say you had Hurd in the pen and like that's a good thing. I mean, he's really struggled. The other part of it is, keep in mind, you needed Griffin Herring yesterday to give you 3 innings to get through it. So if you had burned Herring on Thursday, you don't have that option yesterday. Maybe you don't come back from it. You know what I mean? Again, I'll say it again. The only thing that I questioned on Thursday, the only thing with what Jay did, was Dutton pitched the 4th for you, coming out of the delay, and he had a clean 4th. Why didn't he continue? That was really my only question. Let's see. Gasly Gamer, if you think Shores or Edwards has anything but UCL tears, you're crazy. They're gone 15 months. I'm not going to say that you're wrong on the injury because none of us know, but I don't like to be presumptive. Like you with a fake screen name on YouTube can say that. I can't. So I'm not going to. And I'm not going to be that, certainly speaking absolutes like that. Zach Lenz, Matt, what do you have to say to all those questioning Jay's coaching on Thursday night, throwing the not so strong arms and conceding the loss? Zach, that was essentially the whole show here yesterday. I mean, I'll say it again. I completely agree with just getting through the game and preserving your bullpen for the rest of the weekend. The only thing that I would want an explanation on is why didn't he stick with Dutton, who had a clean 4th? Why not send Dutton back out for the 5th? Because when we went to Micah Bucknam and Bucknam gave up the 5 spot, it was basically over. Gulf South, do you think the trend of kids playing year-round travel ball is part to blame for so many arm injuries? Gulf South, there's been so many studies and so much research done on this. That could be part of it. The fact that kids are throwing breaking balls earlier in their careers is part of it because you're taxing your elbow more with that motion, that snap motion, as opposed to just throwing fastballs. So, I mean, look, in youth ball now, they have pitch counts for kids on weekends and tournaments. And, I mean, there's a lot of factors that could play into it. I'm sure they all play some role and some factor. Nick Kessler, Ty Floyd isn't the answer as our number 2 option. Herring looked good. Guidry has a mentality. He's not scared. I agree with Guidry's mentality. Herring looked good as well, but Herring's also your right now your only left-handed arm. And he's going to be more valuable to you out of the bullpen. I mean, Ty Floyd was great against Arkansas, and it was really good last week as well. I think you're overreacting to a really inconsistent outing for Ty Floyd. You keep rolling with him, and you hope he gets better, better, and better. You don't punt on a starting pitcher because he has a bad outing. I mean, every starting pitcher ever has a bad outing. So, Hurd, the problem is you've seen that like 3-4 consecutive outings. So it's like you can't keep running him out there in key spots if he keeps struggling. Floyd has been good. So, very much disagree with you, Nick. I think you keep Ty Floyd as your number 2. Now, over the next 2-3 weeks, he continues to have issues walking players like this, then I think you got to look for another option. The question is, what is that option? Let's see. All About Sports. Wait, so no game today. Correct, no game today. The canceled game. Just for those maybe just joining, I realize we've been on for a while now. We've been on for about 45 minutes. Yeah, game canceled today. So no game, and it will not be made up. So the way that the SEC rule is, again, a lot of you have heard me say this. I'm just saying it for the people who maybe have just jumped on live. When you start a series, you have 3 days to play 3 games. So 3 days to play 3 games. So in not playing the game 3 today, the series is over. So, and they will not make it up. So LSU will play maximum of 29 league games this year. Randall Offrecht, we have technology. It's time to put an earpiece in the arm, tell them what the pitch is. Like K-zone type thing. We're just flashing on a scoreboard. I've argued that forever. Give me robo-umps. Brambo, what a game yesterday. Team's will to win is amazing. Very different convo or comment than what we had on yesterday's show when everybody was saying the team quit, reading their own press clippings, where's the fire, blah, blah, blah. It was true. It's a great thing about baseball, man. You don't have to sit and stew on a loss for an entire week like in football. You just go out and play the next day. And now you win. And now you can have a conversation and say, man, what if, the lightning delay on Thursday and Skeens rolls and gives you 7 innings? Maybe the offense rallies from down 3-1 and you win that game. Maybe you do. And if you don't rally yesterday, the conversation today is, man, they stink. They're not as good. The pitching stinks, blah, 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 blah. Jesse Post, great Pels atmosphere last night. Had my little guy on the court with his buddies for the anthem. Very cool, very cool. Great memory for them. Dustin Fondo, there was no way to play the 3rd game. About 45 minutes after the game, the monsoon started, lasted all night. Okay, good to know. Fred, I could see Florida jumping us. Vandy just lost to Missouri. That's what I was saying, wait for today to see if Vandy wins game 3. Vandy wins game 3, they could jump. Let's see, Tommy White needs to get with Jordan Thompson. He didn't have his best day fielding yesterday. He did have a big homer. So, on the season, Jordan Thompson's fielding 951. Tommy White's fielding 864. Generally speak, Tommy White's got 3 errors on the season. He's got 3 errors in 22 chances. Third base, really the 2 spots on the left side of the infield are where you have your lower fielding percentages just because tougher plays, longer throws, all that sort of stuff. I'll take Tommy White making 3 errors so far halfway through the season. And Jordan Thompson's made 4, but he's had 82 chances. I'm perfectly fine with both of them. Perfectly fine. Samuel Smith, not saying this is as a biased SEC fan. I feel South Carolina is built for small parks, not Omaha. Am I wrong? Yeah, Samuel, I mean, that was my point yesterday. I made it again today. I think if they win enough, they could certainly host a regional, super regional, play through Founders Park. And if they do, they got a great chance because of the dimensions of that park. But I do think that offense would struggle, and I don't think they have the pitching to make up for it. Especially, and I'm making an assumption because I didn't see what they would have done day 3, but they didn't have an identified day 3 starter. They were playing at TBA. So, Trivia Carter, would it be Rocky? Rocky's still sleeping. Carl the Cat, Pelicans once again dropped the ball on handling Zion. You know what? That's what I want to talk about, Carl, earlier. So sorry, I got up to go stop Drew's backpack when we were talking about this. Did y'all see the tweet yesterday? So I'd been told last week that and this is why I talked about it a good bit this week. And I said I thought he was going to play because kind of felt like they were pushing him to play, and it looked like it was going to happen. Well, yesterday David Griffin came out and spoke publicly. Remember on Friday they gave the update, which was really no update. Well, yesterday Griffin said, best possible scenario, everything lined up, maybe in a position to practice prior to the first round or during a first round. He said we may never get to that position either. If there's things align the way he needs to feel, we're not going to let him get to the next phase. I'm looking for the exact quote. When he feels like him, he'll tell us he's ready for the next phase. And to this stage, he hasn't felt like that. David Griffin is essentially saying, we're ready for him to play. He's been out. Everything says he's ready. We're just waiting on him to say he feels good. And he's not saying that. So essentially, the Pelicans are saying, we're waiting for him to tell us. Our doctors, it's not on our doctors. He needs to tell us he's ready. That tells me that, and the fact that Griffin would say that publicly tells me they're frustrated. We saw the same stuff with Saints. When you're trying to get somebody back on the field, and that was a frustration with Michael Thomas, last year, trying to get it back on the field. It's like, listen, it ain't my body. I'm not the superstar athlete making 9 figures or whatever, but you can read. You see enough of those, you can read between the lines. That's what's going on. The Pelicans are ready for Zion to be back, and he's telling them he's not ready to be back, doesn't feel like himself, so they're just waiting for him to feel like himself. Where are we? Trivia Carter, will Gavin ever play infield at LSU? Yes, he's going to be the starting shortstop next year. Go back to, look, Gavin Guidry was in studio a couple weeks ago on AFR, and we talked about this. When Jay recruited him, it was, hey, come in the fall and compete for an infield job, and depending on how that goes, if you don't win one of those spots, we'll see about getting you back on the mound. And that's what they did. Gavin Dugas won the second base job. And so they started ramping up Guidry pitching again, got him on the mound, and then now they're ready to, looks like, turn him loose out of the bullpen. So it's exactly what we said. But next year he'll be the starting shortstop. Jeff G, what's the situation with Zion? Why is there always lack of clarity to what his injury is? There's no lack of clarity. He's got a hamstring injury. And then he was out for 6 weeks or whatever it was, and they were trying to ramp him up, and then they re-aggravated it. And so he's just been hesitant to get back out there. Gulf South, why don't we have standard size for baseball fields? Imagine how ridiculous it would be if A&M's football field was only 85 yards long. Gulf South, I get laughed at every time I have this conversation with baseball people. But I agree with you completely. It is the argument that people make is there is a certain sort of like a golf course. Every course plays different. Every course is a living, breathing, constantly changing being. I mean, golf courses play different based on the weather. If the wind's blowing in the morning but not in the afternoon, you're basically playing 2 different courses. And golf people like that, which that's fine. And people say the same thing about baseball. But it makes it darn near impossible, right, to have uniformity. Listen, as a Yankees fan, it's hard to look at power numbers considering the porch in right field, the short porch, and translate them across baseball. It's one of the reasons why people have always sort of looked at Coors Field in Denver because of the elevation and kind of, put a little asterisk in their minds next to some of the power numbers there. Or pitchers, right? Pitchers at Coors Field. It's generally You're going to have higher ERAs. You're going to give up more homers, all that sort of stuff. I agree with you. I think the dimensions of the field should be the same. The dimensions from the pitcher's mound to home are the same. The dimensions between each base are the same everywhere. The fact that there are different dimensions in the outfield are, to me, is silly. Because you're playing a very different game. When it's 405 to straightaway center at the box, and it's 380 to straightaway center at Founders Park in Carolina. When the power rallies are 265 or 285, I mean, what? I mean, come on. Not 285. If you're like in the 350 range in the power rallies, 360, I don't know what the dimensions are. I think it was like 360, 365. Like, I agree with you. I do. But I get laughed at every time I bring that up, and it'll never change. Let's see. Edward O is talking about Thursday night again. I disagree. I understood with what he was doing in that situation. You don't know Game 3 is going to be canceled. And again, if you throw and it would have. And by the way, I'll say it again. It would have been different if you had the lead on Thursday. Just for those that missed the conversation yesterday, you're losing 3-1. If you run your best arms out there, you are potentially burning arms that could help you win a game in the series later when you are losing the game. And I know what the counter argument is going to be. Well, you don't trust your guys to rally. It's not about that. It's not about do I trust my guys to rally. You have to play percentages. Like, you have to look at a series in total, and you don't compromise a series or a season for a game. Like, that's yesterday, the stupidest thing I heard was someone say they should have brought back Paul Skeens. And like, no. Paul Skeens in July is going to be worth 8 figures, number one. Number two, if you abuse an arm like that, you'll never get another arm like that to come to campus. And then also, you don't, like, whatever this team will be, as you saw this weekend, Paul Skeens is going to be the pace setter. Like, he needs to give you 7 innings on a weekend to get you through a weekend. Like, and you need him for 6 more SEC weekends and the SEC tournament and regionals and super regionals and Omaha. So, no, you don't risk Paul Skeens for a weekend series in Carolina when you have 3 more months of baseball to play. So, no, like, nobody wants to lose, obviously, but sometimes you gotta acknowledge you need to play to win a series or to win a championship and not to win a game. And if your team rallies, great. It didn't happen. And you're saying everyone knew they weren't getting all 3 games in. It doesn't matter. Because at that time, if you had burned Griffin Herring or if you brought Gavin Guidry in or Edwards at that point, like, and you burn them and you don't rally, then you've burned them and you don't have them in game 2, and then you don't steady things and win yesterday. So it's easy to look with benefit of hindsight. But I mean, I say this all the time. In baseball, as long as the manager, or in this case the head coach, makes a decision with sound logic, I can live with the results. Like, if you get a pitcher in the game to play a matchup and misses a spot, or the hitter puts a good swing on something, like, I can live with that result because I understand why you did what you did. I mean, baseball is a game of percentages. You all know the old adage, you fail 70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame. Like, you're going to do the things that's why we always talk about bunting. I'm like, don't bunt. It feels like the right thing to do. It's not. It's not to say it never works, but there's a reason why, if you look at Major League Baseball in an era of increased analytics where everything is analyzed, the chart of bunting in Major League Baseball looks like this over the last 20 years. I mean, it's just a straight line down. Nobody bunts anymore because it's been proven it's better to not give up and out and let your hitter go swing away. Now, at a younger level of ball where you're putting pressure on a defense to make a play, to field a bunt and make the play, they're not going to make that play as consistently as a major college level or pro level. But at this level, swing away, man. Anyway, long way to say, play the percentages. Jay did that. I'm fine with everything he did. The only question I have is, why did you pull Dutton after the fourth? Like, because Dutton had a clean fourth inning. It was 3-1. You could have run Dutton back out there for the fifth. You went to Bucknam. Bucknam gave up the 5 spot. So why didn't Dutton come back out for the fifth? And he may have a great explanation for it. And I can live with that. And I can live with the result. I'm just curious why. Like if he says, well, we thought we might have to bring back Dutton for an extended outing in game 3. So we didn't want to burn him in game 1. Okay. Let's see. Right now we need Little, Cooper, and Hurd to get it together. All the injuries we have, those dudes have to step up. Hurd, of those, Hurd is the biggest one because he has the stuff to be dominant. He's just got to command it. I say just got to command it. It's always been the problem. But if he can command his stuff, then he is a dominant weekend arm for you. But if he can't throw strikes, then he's a liability. Damon Gilmore, good morning. Bruce Shales, good morning. Kentucky looks like after Kentucky, the schedule favors. Yes, LSU schedule was front-loaded, for sure. Nathan Sestero Morales, any update? LSU spring game situation. I don't know, what do you mean about the spring game situation? I mean, it's scheduled for the 22nd, I believe, in Tiger Stadium. Brant Roban, wonder if Edwards' injury was just a matter of time. Any chance Taylor plays toward the end of the season? No. Grant Taylor torn UCL at Tommy John. He's done for the year. Wes Johnson has work cut out. Needs to get these newbies mentally ready. You know what will be interesting, Brant, that you say that? I will be curious to see if they don't maybe start getting some of the freshmen from the staff. Maybe start getting them some innings in the midweek to see if someone else might emerge. Now, keep in mind, like, this coaching staff knows what they have. They've played intra-squads, and they've, they know if – look, Gavin Gidry's a great example of that, right? Like, if – like, they knew that he was going to be, mentally and physically ready to pitch at this level. Some of the other guys, they may feel like have a ways to go. Now, like, Nick Bronzini is a lefty. Is a freshman out of California. If you want to get another lefty out there, that could be an option. Like Griffin Herring. I mean, he's a freshman. They're pitching him. Gavin Gidry, freshman. They're throwing him. DJ Primo is a freshman lefty as well. So you got some arms there. There are some other young guys. Actually, I know a couple of the freshmen Jay told us are not available. I think maybe like Jaden Newt. Like, Aiden Moffitt's a guy who is a big... Aiden Moffitt looks like a defensive end. He's 6'3", 240, out of Mississippi, and a super smart guy. Like, his mom's a high school principal. Both of his parents are educators. And so he was a guy who passed on a 7-figure signing bonus to come to school because his parents are educators. They want him to go to school and get a degree and all that sort of stuff. So, like, there's, you have some guys in that freshman class who might be able to help you too if you get to a spot where you need arms. You need to go eat up innings. Bob Poole, good morning. Quentin Brakebill, good morning. YouTube, please, if you haven't done so yet, we got 161 still watching. Appreciate y'all for hanging on, man. If you would just smash that like button, 71 likes, if you would, appreciate it. Let's see. Fred, let's say, any chance we'll be lucky to have Grant Taylor next year? Yeah, Taylor's going to have to come back and pitch. So he'll pitch his junior year next year at LSU. And hopefully have a great year and have an opportunity to go play pro ball. Reed Rule, good morning. Weather affecting all the sports this weekend. North Dakota State tweeted pick of their baseball fields under 3 feet of snow. Oh, jeez. Let's see, Fred. Short field is why you have to put an asterisk by South Carolina's home run totals. LSU came on their field, hit more bombs in the series. Is going home to a bigger park. Great team. Home run total is inflated. Well, look, I'll put it to you this way, Fred. Of the 4 homers that Carolina hit on Thursday in Game 1, the 2 that Petrie hit were bombs. Would have been going to any park. The one that I forgot the kid's name. It was the one in the 5-run inning that Bucknam gave up. He gave up the grand slam to Petrie, and then the kid who hit the solo shot after that. That one would have been a fly ball out to left center at the box. That would not have even been close. That would not have even been a warning track fly. So having not seen every game and every homer they've hit, it is fair to wonder how many of those have there been this year at that park. Let's see, Edward. I'm not saying run the best arms out there. Don't run the bottom of the pen out there when there's weather forecast the next 2 days. But see, so then what's your compromise? Like, who would you? So then tell me what you would have done. You're down 3-1. Skeens is burned. You're coming out of the third, so you're going to need 6 innings. You're down again. You got to keep in mind you're down 3-1. This is what a lot of y'all don't consider, and this is what I ranted on yesterday. Like, it is so rare that you bring your top arms out of the pen when you're down in a scenario like that. Like, unless if you are in a win or go home scenario. Unless if it's game 3 of a weekend and your best arms haven't pitched yet. But that wasn't the case. It was game 1 and you were looking at 2 more games ahead. So tell me what you would have done. I'll flip it. Tell me what you would have done. I'm glad it was canceled. To subject the public to listen to those announcers for one more game would be cruel. I turned the volume off. And I get it. Look, there's probably fans of other schools that when Lynn Rollins and Ben McDonald are calling games, or Lynn and Rodney are calling games, they can't stand it as well, because it's just the nature of it, right? Like, you're listening to another school's announcers. They know their team well. And we love Lynn and Ben and Ronnie and all those guys, but they're also LSU guys. We listen to them every game. So I get it. So, but it's sometimes tough to listen to, for sure. Samuel Smith, if Florida's 21-9, LSU's 21-8, LSU would get the higher seed in the SC tournament by win percentage. Yes. The worst part would be if LSU ends up 20-9 and Florida's 21-9, then Florida goes, because there's no tie, because they have the same number of wins. Or I'm sorry, they have one more win. Guidry has onions. Yes, he does. Do Ole Miss fans start talking about firing Bianco again, even though he just won the Natty, one SEC win? Tough situation for those guys. I mean, Ole Miss was a disappointing team a year ago. They just got hot at the right time, got in and made a run. Now, they've also had, it's tough. Hunter Elliott was going to be their best arm this year, and he's on the shelf. So, there's some of that stuff that's outside their control that's difficult. But, all the issues around that program and issues around Mike Bianco still exist. They just got hot and won a tournament. At the end of the game Thursday, the guy pimped a bomb like he hit it 450 feet and it barely went out. KLSO, if you're down, you don't use your best arms. That's baseball 101. That's the point I've been making. But it's very hard for people to understand that don't watch a ton of baseball. They just look and say, why did you concede the game? And it's because you have to keep a bigger picture mindset. It's about winning a series, about winning a championship, not about winning a game. And if burning arms could cost you an opportunity to win the series. So you hope you rally, and if you do, you address it as such, but you don't compromise your opportunity to win the rest of the games in the series when you're to go all in to win a game. All right, so Joel says, I would have liked to see them try to eat some innings and stabilize the game with a guy like Cooper, who has a rubber arm and track record of doing it. Okay, so you would have gone down 3-1 to Riley Cooper, who, let's look at it here. Riley Cooper, who won the season, has an ERA of 5.57. His WHIP is 138, meaning he's allowing 1.38 walks or hits per innings pitched. 21 innings on the season. He's allowed 13 earned runs in 21 innings. 20 strikeouts, he's walked 8. In Cooper's, let's see, I want to look at Cooper's most recent outings. Because Cooper has been a big point of contention this year because he's not been effective. You said you've seen him do it. You haven't seen him do it this year because that's been the problem. He's basically lost his job to Nate Ackenhausen and now Griffin Herring as the lefty on staff that they go to. The last time we saw Cooper in the Tennessee series, he gave up 6 runs on 8 hits, walked 2, struck out 5. So again, if you're down 3-1 and you wanted to extend like he did against Tennessee on Sunday, and he gives up 6 runs, now you're toast. You still have no chance. So it's essentially what they did. I mean, they just went to Bucknam. Again, I'll go back to it. It's effectively what they were trying to do when they didn't put Bucknam in the 4th. They put Bucknam in the 5th. That's the point that I'm making. I was okay going to Dutton. Dutton pitched the 4th, and he pitched a clean 4th. Then they went to Bucknam in the 5th. That's the one question I have. That's my one question. One question. Why didn't you stick with Dutton in the 5th? And I don't know that question was asked of Jay Johnson. So, and his answer, whatever the answer is, may make a ton of sense. I'm sure he had a logical decision why he did it. But that's the one thing that I would say of the whole game I didn't understand is why they didn't stick with Dutton in the 5th. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about a lifetime track record of Cooper over Bucknam. That's that's irrelevant. I'm worried about in this moment who I'm going to. And then if you pitch Cooper, remember the only lefty then you have in the bullpen with Ackenhausen not available is Griffin Herring. So you want to pitch the rest of the weekend with only Griffin Herring available from the left side? I can make an argument both ways. It's where we'll go. But again, I have no problem with what Jay did. Just getting through the game. I'm not putting one of my best arms out there down 2 runs against a team that homered 3 times or homered twice off of Paul Skeens. No, 3 times off of Paul Skeens. No, twice off of Paul Skeens. I'm not running out my best arms, and I don't know what would have been a better option other than sticking with Dutton. But that's my one thing. That's it. Everything else I agree with what he did. Would you have been against throwing Hurd after the rain delay, like starting? Why not get him some work on the road since you were down? You're talking about on Thursday? I don't know if Hurd would have been available on Thursday since he pitched Tuesday. Remember, he pitched Saturday of the Tennessee series, then Tuesday. I don't know if he would have been available for a day on Thursday. I really don't. And I would not have gone there. Again, Dutton's been a starter for you. Like, I know Dutton can extend. I'll just keep going back to it. I think it was the right decision to go to Dutton in that spot. If they were leading 3-1, I absolutely would have gone Garrett Edwards, Griffin Herring. Like, and I'm sure that's what Jay would have done if they were leading. Go win the game. You're winning. Go try to throw your best arms and win the game. But they weren't. And then, all right, we're almost done here. Gulf South said, could Jay have been thinking, bring Dutton back game 2 or 3 if needed? Maybe that's what he was thinking. Like, as far as a game 3, a potential game 3, if you're starting Christian Little and he doesn't extend, you're going to need arms that can extend. So do you burn Dutton right there? The flip side of it is, depending on how game 2 goes with Floyd, and now we know how it went with Floyd, they could have been thinking, you could have rather been thinking that you'd have plenty of arms available. Again, like, I don't know. I'm trying to guess, but I mean, clearly he didn't burn Dutton in game 1. And if you're not going to burn a pitcher in that game, the thought then is likely that you might pitch him again at some point during the weekend. But I'm just, again, Jay Johnson knows more about baseball than I'll ever know. And he knows more about his team than I'll ever know. I'm literally just asking the question out of sincere curiosity, because it helps you learn a coach's mentality of how he goes about things. Like, we learned this about Paul Maneri over the years. He would use midweek games to get as soon as Dad shows over, we're going to get dressed. In a little while, we'll go to JJ's house.
Why?
What, baby?
And then
And then what?
JJ.
We go to JJ's house. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Like, so Paul would use midweek games, and you remember he would do this, like, he would make 3 pitching changes in the 9th inning and let 3 different guys get an out, because from Paul's perspective, just like physically being on the mound in a game against another hitter, even for one AB, was more valuable than throwing the bullpen. So, like, we know that was his approach to things. So, like, we're still learning Jay. I mean, it's only Jay's 2nd year, and last year you could hardly even count that as how he's going to approach things, because it was such a hodgepodge, especially on the mound. I mean, they just didn't have a rotation. I mean, you'd use 9 guys in a game. It was just, here, get us a start, get us 2 innings. Now it's just the parade of relievers to try to piece things together. This year's different because he's got arms, right? So, I don't know. I mean, that would be my thing on Thursday. I have no problem with him playing it the way he did. I just why did they pull down? When naming people available for game 3, he didn't name Dutton as one. Now, Samuel, that's the other part of it too, like, which is very valid, because if you were going to be playing a doubleheader on Friday, if that was the intent, then maybe you're not bringing Dutton back after the inning he threw, which doesn't make sense. He probably would have been available. Because I think Dutton threw 20.
Where's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Sunday.
On Sunday?
Tomorrow's Easter. Who's coming to Drew's house on Easter? The Easter Bunny. Yep. And then we're gonna go to Momo and Popo's house.
I'll go.
And see Momo and Popo and Grammy and Gramps. What'd you think about that? Okay, sounds great. All right, we might just be about done here, y'all. Let's see. Let's see. Jump back over here to Facebook. Chandler Watts, everyone complaining about game one approach, does not understand baseball. Well, you want Daddy's Hutco hat? Okay. Daddy help you. Daddy help. Your daddy help. There we go.
That's a period.
That's it, period. Okay. Here's the thing. Who was that? Chandler. Chandler, I think there are valid questions or criticisms that could be raised. For anyone who's arguing that, like, Jay should have gone all in, or he was a quitter by conceding the loss, like that, I have a big problem with that, because it is a different mentality in baseball where you are. It's not like if you're down 17 or if you're down 24 in the third quarter and you just empty your bench and play a whole bunch of backups because you don't want anybody to get hurt, and your starters to get hurt because you don't think you'll rally. Like that's different. Because you have time and you can rally and there are turnovers and things happen. But that's not what happened. And like, it's just different in baseball. Like, you've got to play to win a series, not to win a game. So, anyway. Bob Poole, let's see, Samuel Merrifield, Matt, sorry, you've already asked. Who do you think will the main pitchers who will contribute more, considering Edwards' situation? Do you think they go some of the freshmen? We don't know what's up with Edwards, first of all. So Becky just asked for an update on Garrett. We do not have an update on Garrett Edwards. I'm sure they're not going to say anything until they can get home and image it and you do a full analysis. If you just want to play a hypothetical and say, okay, if Garrett Edwards isn't available and Chase Shores isn't available, Gavin Guidry is obviously one they're going to count on more. And really the challenging part becomes you've got arms that can do it, that you need to maximize. You need to maximize Ty Floyd. You need to maximize Thatcher Hurd. Oh, you want Hutco Roof? Hey, come here. I want you to sing that. Sing it.
Yeah.
Sing it.
Hutco Roof.
Hutco Roofing.
No.
When you.
Oh, no.
You do it.
No.
Yes. You do it. Drew, do it.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right, now you're shy. What? You want Dad's lap?
No.
Okay. What? We've been on a long time today, bud. Hour and 23 minutes. Patrick Kason, good morning. Chandler, not trying to be rude, just being honest, you're spot on.
I didn't. Not for that,
We're going to get dressed. We're going to change the diaper and we're going to get dressed. A little while Mommy will wake up, and then we'll go to JJ's house. We can go for Daddy's car first if you want. Although we can go to Walgreens or something. Where you want to go? You want to go for Daddy's car?
Yeah. And then
come home and get dressed and go to JJ's house.
Okay.
So Trivy said any other freshman that can start. I think you're asking the wrong question, man. Yes, there's guys that are very high on. But again, like, your better option is keep working with Thatcher Hurd to get, like, there's nothing wrong with Thatcher Hurd. Like, his velocity isn't off, like, his breaking pitches have good bite, like, that's not the problem. He is struggling to throw strikes right now. And he's getting behind in counts and then having to throw the ball over the plate, and he's getting crushed. He's just got to throw strikes. He's got to be able to.
Not for that show.
We're going to get dressed.
And then
we'll go for our NASCAR. And then we'll come home, and we'll get Mommy, and we'll go to JJ's house. Okay? We're almost done. Trivia, E-Rock's still not awake, bro. She's asleep. E-Rock could sleep until Tuesday. If She's like her dad. If she could, like, she would sleep for like 48 straight hours. I can't. He gone. Okay. Let's see. Samuel Smith, wish Jay would have gone with Joe Bear over Pearson. Well, Joe Bear did pinch hit yesterday. Sometimes it's matchups. If you know what I'm not looking at the scouting report for South Carolina's pitchers, but maybe it's something where if you have a guy who's like, who's put away pitch is an off-speed pitch that's really good. Joe Bear doesn't hit that as well, and so they went with there's so much analytics goes into that. Maybe they were just, or maybe it was Pearson there for defense. I don't know. See, Edwardo, like, this is where you're wrong, bro. Like, this is where you're wrong. Okay, like, and this is where you're exposing yourself a little bit. You say y'all act as if LSU was down massive margin. 3-1 is nothing to overcome for this lineup. They were down 4 in the 8th yesterday. They were, and they were able to come back, which is great to see. That's also an outlier. You don't. On Sunday, we're gonna go to Mama and Papa's house and see Mama and Papa, Grammy and Grams. Okay, that's where you're exposing yourself, because you're also assuming, you're saying 3-1 is nothing to come back from. You're also assuming you're not going to give up any more runs, and that's after having watched that offense hit 2 homers off of Paul Skeens in 3 innings, who had not given up a homer all year. So, like, I know it feels good to say it like, oh, it's not that big of a deficit, which is true, but you also, now your best pitcher is gone after 3 innings. On the weekend, when you're used to him giving you 7, you have no confidence in Thatcher Hurd, who's your day 3 guy, or your game 3 guy, and you may end up having to play 3 games in 2 days. So that's going to shorten your bullpen as well with guys that you're not able to bring back. Those are the things you're not considering. So, like, again, this is just, the guy earlier who said it is right. It's baseball 101. If you're down, you don't bring your best arms out of the bullpen. Tony Vitello did it last week. Okay. And it burned him. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And Tony Vitello was down 1 run.
And then
We're almost done, baby, and then we're going to go get dressed. We'll go for Dad's car.
2.
Where you want to go?
No.
No? Okay.
And then
So E-Rock's in hibernation, kind of.
we're going.
Okay, we're done. Let's be done. Tell everybody one more time. We'll say shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. If you need an orthopedics, go to Brock, Hudco Roofing, and
HudcoRoofing.com.
do business with someone you know.
HudcoRoofing.com.
Nailed it. Restored Motions. Shout out to my girl, Crystal Poche. If you got pain, book a session. She will bring you out of it. And ProCharge EV. ProChargeEV.com. Go to ProChargeEV.com. ProCharge giving away not 1, not 2, but 3 EV chargers this month. If you are a commercial building or own a business in Louisiana, it is totally free to enter. Just go to ProChargeEV.com. ProChargeEV.com. Remember, there's tap to pay options on it. So we'll install, or ProCharge will install an EV charger, and people use your EV charger. Not only does it bring people into your business, but it's also a revenue generator for your business. Okay, are we done?
Yeah.
Smash the like button on the way out, right? Say Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, buddy.
Okay. Bye.
Peace. Peace, please.
Peace.